Sitting here with #1 contender. Next weekend, big fight. You get your shot again at the #1 spot for the WBC this time. Erickson Lubin, late night training session. How you feeling, champ?
I feel great, man. I feel great. I'm ready to rock. I was ready to rock weeks ago, and it's a big fight on my hands. Vergil Ortiz is they consider him the #1 guy in the Ring magazine at 154 pounds, and I'm just looking to claim that spot, that throne, and put myself in a very comfortable spot to where I can fight any one of these champions. A rematch with Fundora. We're fighting for the WBC interim belt, so that definitely lines me up for a rematch with Fundora. Maybe a rematch with Charlo, Xander Zayas, Bakram Murtazaliev. You can still get that going. But this is a legacy type fight for me. It's an undefeated young undefeated furious fighter, and this right here sets everything up for me. I'm in my prime now, and I'm excited. I'm excited to show the world that I'm the #1 154-pounder in boxing.
So your last fight, you did coming off a 12th-round knockout. You became 11th. You became the #1 guy for the IBF. You were in line to fight Bakram, and then the Vergil Ortiz fight happened. Was it that you saw something in Vergil, that you saw that this was a bigger fight? Why the choice to fight for the WBC when you could have went right to the world title shot?
Well, I've been ranked in the WBC for a very long time, and that's just one of my favorite belts. It's a prestigious belt. All the greats pretty much had the WBC title, and I sat at #1 since pretty much 2020, 2019 in the WBC, and kept fighting title eliminators after title eliminator. We decided to move on and go to the IBF because, that presented itself, and, I just wanted to be, I still do, and I just want to be champion. So I just, I took the IBF title eliminator, after being out the ring. I fought Ramos, and I pretty much got the #1 spot, and they took me out of the rankings with WBC. So I went ahead and moved on and went with the IBF because I was sitting in the top 3 of that. And then I became the #1 contender in the IBF. And, it was just a lot of waiting games going on after being out the ring almost 2 years. And then the Vergil Ortiz fight presented itself. And, it's a title match. It's the WBC interim title at hand, on the line as well. So we just, we went with that fight. It presented itself, and everything was laid out. The IBF champion, there's too much negotiating going on. There was too much waiting going on. And I already been out the ring for 2 years almost. I fought Adriel Holmes back in May, but I didn't want to have to wait a very long time before I got back in the ring. So this presented itself. I feel like this is a fight right here that's going to line me up for any one of the belts, and it's going to put me #1 at 154 pounds. Just check my resume.
Speaking of resumes, one thing about you is that you have fought all the top guys. Like you said, you have been ranked #1 since 2019, fought champion after champion, challenger after challenger. A lot of the guys, what's so different about Vergil that you see coming in front of you that you feel like you could come on top in this fight?
I feel like I've seen it all. I fought guys like Ramos. I fought guys like Fundora, Charlo, some of the top champions in 154 pounds, top champions in boxing. So, Vergil Ortiz, he's a dynamic fighter, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the type of matchup this is gonna be. I'm training hard. Training camp is pretty much done. We're about to, put a wrap up the training camp, and it's almost fight week.
Speaking of training camp, you're in Las Vegas, Nevada. One of the few first times, if not, in your career. How's the training been in Las Vegas, and what made you make the change to come to Las Vegas as opposed to your hometown or your home state of Florida?
Well, my last fight was back at home in Florida, and I trained at home for that fight. So, I've done it, and I feel like me being away and isolated has always been a better option for me. Getting away from family and friends and comfortability. I'm over here with K. Karoma, You know, somebody I'm real familiar with, somebody I've known since the amateur days, and he knows my style pretty well. And, you know, he's gotten me in tip-top shape. You know, I don't want to disclose what we've been working on, but everything we've been working on has gotten me in pretty much the best shape of my life. I know a lot of fighters say that. It's a cliche statement from a fighter, but, you know, this is one of the best shapes I've been in, and it's going to show on fight night.
All right. The 154-pound is a very hot division. Obviously, we still got Fundora doing his thing. He's supposed to be fighting Thurman. But we got a newcomer, Jaron Boots Ennis. Everyone's complaining about the resume. He didn't take the toughest fight, but he did come out with a brilliant knockout. He was actually supposed to be fighting Vergil. He mentioned that he would be willing to fight the winner of this. If you get to Vergil next weekend, can you see yourself fighting Boots? Do you have other plans, or what are your thoughts on that?
I could see myself fighting Boots maybe one day. You know, Boots is a tremendous fighter. He has great skill. And with me and Boots being in the ring, I think it'd be a firefight. It'd be a highly skillful matchup. But right now, honestly, you know, no ducking, no dodging nobody. You know, y'all know I don't do that. But I'm looking to get one of these belts. If Boots end up with a belt, then we could talk more about the Boots fight. You know, that it'd make more sense then.
Is Boots deserving of a title shot right now? Given his resume at 54 and what he did in 47, do you feel like he should be in line for a title fight next?
I think a lot of boxing has been a popularity contest. I do think he's one of the more popular fighters in the division today. And, you know, he was champion at 147. So him moving up from 147 to 154, just like Devin Haney. Devin Haney just came from 140, moving up to 147, and he's about to fight Brian Norman for his title. So I feel like, you know, Boots being one of the more popular guys, ex-champion, I do think he's deserving of a title. I do think he's maybe in line to fight a Boss Baru guy. And I think, you know, if he walks away with that title, then, yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to, you know, chasing is the titles. You know, one thing I want is the title. So if he ends up with it, for sure we can make it happen. Me, myself, I'm in line with the WBC to get that title. So I'm definitely chasing the 154-pound title, the WBC belt. And if any other titles present itself, then yes, let's do it. That's what I want is the titles.
WBC champion is Fundora. He was supposed to fight Keith Thurman. What are your thoughts on that fight, and who do you feel like could edge that fight out? I thought it was a good matchup.
In my opinion, I think Fundora right now is, you know, he's gotten a little better. He's gotten a little better. You know, he's using his height a little bit more. Keith Thurman has a lot of experience under his belt. They do call him one time. He has tremendous power. Great lateral movement, experience, and knows how to use the ring and the clock and everything like that. So, you know, before I had a 60-40 Fundora, but today my odds are a little different. I have it a 50-50 fight. I think it's a 50-50 fight. I think Keith Thurman's a big puncher. You know, him giving the weight, you know, may play to his advantage. I think Fundora's, he's gotten better, but, you know, he still has lapses in his defense. So we'll see when it does happen.
All right, next weekend, this is it. Is your shot at the WBC interim belt. What can we expect from Erickson Lubin come fight night next weekend?
For me to walk away with a W. That's all I'm focused on is coming out with a W. I know a lot of people overlook me in this matchup because they want to see Boots and Vergil Ortiz, but that's a fight that was a fantasy matchup at 147 pounds. This is 154 pounds. You got a lot more players in this division, way more stacked division. There's a lot more fights you can make at this division, and I think that fight is long gone. And I'm gonna show next Saturday why I'm the best at 154 pounds.
Last question. One fight that was long gone, but that happened to come back into the media just yesterday was a rematch between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. They're obviously talking about potentially fighting again Is that a fight the boxing fans should care about? Do you, as a fighter, do you care about the fight? What are your thoughts on Manny Pacquiao rematching Floyd Mayweather?
I'm not too interested. I'm not too interested on it. You know, I think Floyd did what he had to do in the sport of boxing. You know, he's reigned for a long time, and now he's been retired for a long time. And I just don't, you know, it's not that I don't give him the same respect, but I think it's a new day and age. And I think that, you know, we let the legends just live, and you know, they had their days. And there's fighters like myself, there's fighters all around the world that, you know, is looking to become their own legends in their own way and create their own legacies. You know, I feel like Floyd has his legacy. I don't think he hurting for no money. So I think he should just let that fight go to rest. You know, he already beat Manny Pacquiao. Maybe a little too late. Who knows what they say, whatever. Manny Pacquiao was the older fighter. Or the younger fighter, maybe. I think maybe the younger fighter. But, you know, Floyd's always he's an all-time great. And I think he should just, you know, retire undefeated. And, you know, we'll forever remember him as Money Mayweather, Pretty Boy Floyd, one of the best to ever do it.
Erickson, Lubin, good luck for their fight next weekend. Last message to the fans.
Everybody tune in November 8th, live on The Zone. Erickson, Lubin versus Vergil, Ortiz. It will be a fire fight. Just stay tuned. It's hammer time.
Do you like the new poster? Do you like the new
got a new
poster?
one?
Did they make a new one yet?
I don't know if they made a new one.
Oh, man, you ain't like that poster.
Yeah, I
huh?
ain't like that poster, though. They got to put some respect on me.
I feel it. They're going to get that respect next weekend.
You know it.
All right, man, we're rooting for you.
Thank you.